Jubilant scenes on the streets of the Gabonese capital. After nearly 56 years of Bongo family rule, the political dynasty was overthrown by its own presidential Republican Guard. After so much time, many there are excited at the prospect of change.
This is Independence Day. The army has freed our country. We are free. We have the right to be free and to express ourselves the way we want.
We've had enough of the PDG party. They've ruled us for decades, even if they never won any elections.
While many of Libreville's residents are celebrating, the sentiment is not shared by everyone. The US and Russia expressed concern, while the EU said it may impose sanctions. The African Union and the UN condemned the coup, and Nigeria's president expressed alarm over what he called contagious autocracy. If successful, this will be the 6th African country where the military has seized power since 2020. The ousted president, now under house arrest, called for his supporters to take action.
I'm Ali Bongo Ondimba, president of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise, for the people here have arrested me.
He had claimed victory in last weekend's elections, but just minutes after the announcement was made, senior military officers released this statement.
Au nom du peuple gabonais,
in the name of the Gabonese people, we have decided to defend peace by putting an end to the current regime. The general elections of August 26, 2023, as well as the truncated results, are cancelled. The borders are closed until further notice. All institutions of the Republic are dissolved.
In Gabon, many now hope for a brighter future, but the international community can only watch on with bated breath.
So after the military coup in Gabon yesterday, the West spared no effort to condemn the coup. They call it undemocratic. They say that they need to figure out a way to stop coups in Africa because it's coming like an epidemic from one country to another. But before we even begin to condemn this coup, which I don't think we should, but before we begin to condemn this coup, let's ask ourselves this question, and I'm very frank about it. Was there any democracy in Gabon? Really? Was there any democracy in Gabon? So the French or the Europeans or the Americans can really sit comfortably and argue that there was a democracy in Gabon, that Gabon had democracy? Really? These people have no shame. They have no shame at all. If there's one thing I have realized, my brothers and sisters, is that the plight of the African people had never been the concern of the West. They've never ever had this at the back of their mind that African people matter, that what the African people want matters. They have never ever given that some thought. Because if they did, if they had given this some thought, they would not come on air to say that Gabon was a democratic country and the military taking over, staging a coup, has plunged the country into chaos and anarchy, and by so doing, has rolled back all the progress that democracy has brought to the country. A country like Gabon, where one person ruled for 40 years, and when he died, the son took over. And this same son was the Minister of Defense for many, many years before he became the president of the country, Ali Bongo. And he ruled the country for 14 years. and still went in for re-election. The family of Bongo has governed Gabon for 54 plus years. And you call that democracy? Shame on you, the West. Shame on you, the European Union. Shame on you, France. You call that a democracy in Africa when one family governed a country for 54 plus years? Come on. Come on. You guys have no shame at all. You guys have no shame at all. That was a democracy in your own opinion? Gabon is the fifth oil producing nation in Africa. It's a very tiny country, if I'm not mistaken, with about 2 million people. Right? It's a very tiny country in terms of population. And they have a lot of oil. If the revenue collected from these oil resources were meant or were used in the development of the country, Gabon would have been a little Europe. Gabon would have been a far more advanced country in Africa. But the Bongo's family embezzled everything. In fact, the oil in the country was like the personal asset of the Bongo's family. They and the French took away everything. When the French took part of the revenue from the oil and gave the balance to the Bongos, they pocketed it. Every single franc was taken by them. And now the West have the guts to tell us that we are rolling back democracy in Africa. That the juntas have done wrong and the people do not support it. Really? These guys are a bunch of joke. You cannot believe a single thing their words tell you. You shouldn't believe it. Whatever they say, you should double check it. Everything they say, take it with a grain of salt. Don't believe them. They've never had the interests of Africans at heart. And our leaders have been part of the problem. How can you imagine that Omar Bongo ruled Gabon for 40 plus years and he did not transform the country into a developed nation? How is that possible? Look at Qatar. I always make example of Qatar because I've been to Qatar. Have you seen what Qatari authorities have done to Qatar? They've totally transformed the nation of Qatar. Everything. Large roads, good health care, nice buildings, nice cars. They've done so well for the people in Qatar. If only our African leaders had just a little bit, a little bit of pity for common people. Just a little. Do you know how much will be accomplished without just little pity for common people? But they do not. They've never had any pity for common people. So whatever is going on in Gabon, we the Africans support it. Not that we like military coups. I personally do not like military coups. But I have realized that it's the only option for now. It's that necessary evil that we all need to look into. You never know what might come out of it. So we have to look into it. So I am wishing the military juntas in Gabon good luck. And I hope they do their best in making sure that Gabon or the Gabonese get what they deserve. And I understand that the coup in Gabon is quite different from the coups in West Africa, like in Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali. It's quite different from those coups because like the one in Burkina Faso or Niger or Mali, they are against French involvement in the country. But the one in Gabon, they are against the Bongo's dynasty. and they want to take them out. So they are not necessarily against France, but they feel like the Bongos have been there for far too long. It's only but normal that they get out. So let all of us just be patient and observe how things carry on. But you guys out there, what is your take on the remarks made by the EU, the French, and the Americans about the coup in Gabon? Do you really think that these so-called Westerners have our interests, us the Africans, at heart? Do you really think that? Share your thoughts and opinions with us in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, do not forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel, because little bit of goodwill, like the one you're doing just now, help us a lot, and we shall forever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.